Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Let's do it.
Okay, this is the NBA accident interview for the Oklahoma City Thunder. If you are watching, please like and subscribe on YouTube and leave a comment down below how you feel about their season this year and how you feel about their offseason. So let's start with the Thunder. They're 64-18 on the year. They were the number one seed in the West, and they lost a 7-game series against the San Antonio Spurs. Let's go with some pros here. Give me a pro for the Thunder this season.
I think it's Shea, back-to-back MVPs, and especially, ending the season in that Game 7, showing why he's one of the top 3 best players in the league. Could even debate best player in the league based on what he was playing with that last game. But he's just so consistent and bankable. I mean, he beat Wilt's record of 20 points, scoring 20 points in each game. He's about as bankable as they get, and he's healthy. He plays. There's not much more you could ask for besides, the things that Oklahoma City fans don't want to hear about. But he's bankable.
Yeah, no, he's awesome. Maybe the best guard in the league, right? Like at the very least, you could say he's the best guard in the league. And just smooth with the ball. He knows how to get to his spots. Like you said, like you watch Game 7, you're like, this is why he's the MVP. But yeah, good pro right off the bat. I'll give a pro Mitchell. Mitchell's a pro. Them finding him, they're paying him like $3 million for the next 4 years or 3 years, so he's on a really team friendly contract. So that's another pro, just finding him and how he can add to your team, but he also lets you be flexible with whether it's your roster or roster moves, which we'll talk about coming up. So yeah, Mitchell's got to be a pro.
Yep, he fits in there perfect, and we'll get to reasons why when we get into like off-season such. Mm-hmm. I also put the McCain trade.
Yep, I have that down too.
They have a bunch of assets. They gave up a low first, some seconds, and I mean McCain came through big for them. I think you see like his pluses and minuses. Like he's a gunner. He gets up those shots, but I think this is kind of like the perfect team for him because they can kind of exploit it when they need it and rein it in when they don't. And he's kind of a liability defensively, but you got defenders around him. So it's kind of like the perfect fit for him. And they used him, to, even if you move on from him, to up his value.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, definitely won that trade. I put down to like just the depth of the roster. Wiggins, Joe, Williams. They got McCain, the other Williams, Topic. We don't even know how good he is, but he's on the roster. They got Wallace and Holmgren and Mitchell. We already talked about. So it's just they have a lot of young talent, and I think they do one of the better jobs of like developing and showing what each of their young talent can do. And so again, this allows them to be flexible during the season and flexible in the off season because of all the young talent they have.
Yeah, I had that as a pro. Still good, staying good.
Yeah.
They rotate these guys through. We'll obviously have to talk about it a lot more going into next year and the following year with the second apron. But again, to be able to unearth or make moves for these guys is what's going to keep them atop.
Yep, correct. Any other pros?
No.
Okay, let's go to cons.
I guess I could say falling. No.
Well, that's actually in my cons.
Professional falling. No.
Professional. Cons.
Yeah, I just put J-Dub for this year. And
yeah.
Not like his play per se, just he's injured. Like the longest hamstring injury ever. You just hope it's a 1-year thing. And we've seen it in football where sometimes these guys get checked out, and it's because they have muscle irregularities in their leg. They, as evidenced by the Spurs, they need him. Mm-hmm. I know he's their second best player. So, yeah, I mean, it sounds dumb saying you need him. Obviously you do, but especially in the West, they're going to need him to play close to an all NBA level to keep this up now that these contracts kick in. But to have him miss all that time and then try and keep getting hurt in the playoffs, definitely a con to the season.
Yeah, totally agree. 33 games only, and then the yo-yo in the playoff. Just didn't know whether he's playing or not. So yeah, that was a big con. Along with that, I just injuries at the wrong time. I think that also was a con. Like Mitchell also got injured in the Spurs series, and it really showed because they're and you talked about McCain as a pro, still a pro, but he's just not who you want to be your secondary primary ball handler. When Shea isn't on the court, it's not the guy you want. He's not the guy you want the shade in the last 4 minutes of the game to be passing the ball to and be like, hey, dude, you got to go create something. And that's what happened because both Williams and Mitchell were just unavailable. So just injuries at the wrong time was a con for me as well.
Yep. And I'll close it out for me with just Chet in the playoffs. It kind of fell apart against the Spurs. We've talked about it plenty on our other episodes, but they got to find a way to help him develop in the regular season, like letting him kind of grow his offensive game, especially like you said, it's not like an every matchup thing, but the Spurs are kind of the thing right now.
Yep.
Your main competitors. Chet's going to have to be able to do a little more. I think you need to use the regular season to let him try. Even if you lose a few extra games, I think he needs to take that next step offensively. Defensively, he's impeccable. There's nothing to say there. Offensively, he's got to diversify or speed up that shot to kind of counteract, again, mainly the Spurs, but it could creep up depending on offseason moves, a couple other teams.
Yeah, I think I know this is like so 1990s, but like if he could get like a hook shot, man, I think like if I'm the Thunder, I'm like, what could we do against Wembanyama? A hook shot. Like they're one of the most unblockable shots in the game. And it's because you're fading and you're also, so by the time it actually gets over Wembanyama's head, it's at the peak of its basically of the height of it. Like let's get I understand the post game is totally like gone in today's era, but like could we get Chet like one good hook shot move where he can feel confident hitting over Wembanyama? That'd be kind of great, I think. But yeah, I'm with you. Chet was just apprehensive when he's just not shooting threes when he's wide open, or when somebody who's like 6'4" is closing out on him. It's like that's a mental thing. So yeah, that was just a big con. Last con I had was the floppy narrative or the villains. They kind of became that this year, and it was because of the floppy narrative. It was deserved. But it got to the point where it's like questioning whether these players are actually good or not. Like people were even saying like Shea is not a good player because he has to flop in order to win. It's like, no, he doesn't. But you can also understand why people come up with that narrative, because if you're going to act desperate to get foul calls, then they're going to think the only way you can win is through foul calls. Like if that's the way you're trying to win, then that's the way people are going to think. So I just think I don't like the fact that that's like the narrative when it comes to this team because they're so good everywhere else, but they make it the narrative, and I just have that as a con because it kind of takes away from how special these players are.
Well, I get it, OKC fans. Depending on how many people watch this,
not as many Blazer fans.
You're going to get some comments like, I get how this goes. Bucks fan here, the whole small market thing. Like, I've dealt with it. You see it. It's just OKC pushes the limits of like understanding the rules and taking advantage of it. And from a logical aspect, like we've had these debates before, I get it. If falling is going to get you the call, fall to the ground, right? That's what they teach. That's what they do. They're, maximizing the rules and the ways to do things. It's just, I think if it wasn't your team doing it and OKC was on the other end and you're watching the Blazers in that series just fall all the time and maximizing these things, you would hate it. So it's like nothing personal to Oklahoma City. It's just their demeanor of doing this is like the kind of the things we talk about league wide that has kind of diminished the watchability of the NBA.
Yeah.
And like you said, Shea didn't do it and he had the 35. Yeah, he had two instances mainly one where he side jumped on a three.
Right, which a lot of players do, by the
Right.
way. Yeah,
You can live with one or two of those.
right.
Like to say Reggie Miller never did anything, right? Like we know the Reggie Miller leg kick thing, got it. We're not saying it never happened in the past, but they don't need to do it,
Yeah,
is what it comes down to. All these guys are good. It's not just an OKC thing. They kind of take it to the next level.
that's it. Yeah.
I just wish like it's a con because it's kind of like diminish what we talk about in the
Mhm.
NBA. And I hope the league does whatever they need to just like weed this stuff out.
Yeah.
Because OKC, guess what? You're still going to win 60 games if you stop doing it,
Right.
which I think is their point. Like, oh, we're just taking advantage. I get it. Just stop.
Yeah, yeah, it's the volume of what they do. It's not that you do it every now and then. Like, I'll be honest, I root for Cade. Cade's my guy. He shot like 283 free throws compared to like SGA shooting 952. It's like who played more, like who was on the court like when they played longer. Cade had more minutes average than Shea. He doesn't get the foul call a lot because he plays through contact. If you watch him, he plays through contact. Otherwise, he shoots in all the same areas that Shea does. What's the difference is Shea sells the calls, he flops and does that stuff. I get why you do it because it's frustrating when you get fouled and you don't get the call. But it's just to the max. And it's not necessarily, I don't necessarily blame the refs or the Thunder as much as I blame the NBA for allowing it to happen. But it is a negative because I'm sorry, like why are we talking about this in game 7 of the Western Conference Finals when two teams that are as talented as they are, like that should be our focus, not the flopping stuff. So yeah.
Amen.
Uh Difference. What would you have done different if you were the Thunder this year?
I, I I don't think there's anything they could have done. Like, I mean, they gave Jalen Williams plenty of time to try to recover from the hamstring. It just
Hmm.
didn't work. The other things just seemed like, hey, a calf at the wrong time, a mental block by Chet at the wrong time. Outside of that, I don't know. I mean, they came out of the season going for it, playing that villain role, killing everyone, and then they kind of backed off like you should, right? Like you don't want to wear yourself out. It just, you know, not having injuries when you had them,
Yep.
but you can't change that.
Yeah, the only thing I put different, and this is a super big nitpick, and I don't even know if it would have worked for them, was just in the fourth quarter of game 7, maybe just let Chet sit on the bench. Like, that's the only thing I could think of. He was kind of a zero on the offensive side, and I know he did have a big block on Harper. I don't remember if that was in the fourth or not, but it's just
Yeah.
like, does that counteract the like just being a total dud on the offensive side of the ball? So that's what I put. And Jalen Williams, the other one, he was having a pretty solid game. So it's like maybe play him instead of Chet in the fourth quarter. I don't know if that gets you the win, but that's a nitpick. I try to come up with the answer to every one of these questions. I don't come on here and be like, I don't know what I would have done. That was the only thing I put down. So, um, grade. What do you give him for a grade, Clint?
I gave them 4 stars.
Me too.
Um, like their regular season was probably better than I thought it was going to be. They did a good job of not, like just punting large sections of the regular season. Um, and they just fell a little short. But again, it's not like it's hard to say it was disappointing because of the injury. So, because again, I think we'd both make a logical argument if Jalen Williams plays, Chet kind of falls into a different role. If AJ Mitchell plays, we're probably talking about the Thunder still playing right now.
That's true. We're talking about the Spurs exit interview. That's a good point. Yeah, I had 4 as well. Yep. Yeah. Better exceeded my expectations a little bit. I did have them going to the finals though, so that's why I didn't put them at a 5 because they didn't meet my expectations fully. Okay, off season. Let's talk about their off season. They have an interesting one. Clint here. So they got 2 first round picks, the 12th pick and the 17th pick. They are 261 million in cap. Is their cap, which is about 40 million above the second apron. This would include the first round pick and the bonuses and the team options, I believe, as well.
Yep.
So, team options, Harkenstein, Williams, Dort. That's the important guys. So give me what you think they should do this offseason, Clint.
Yeah. So this is like the start of their second apron. We gotta do some trimming. I wrote it down. If they keep everything like you just said, their payroll would be $554 million with all the tax payments. Like, not sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
So that, again, this is where you start weeding out some of that depth that doesn't play a lot, but maybe some guys have some, like Kendrick Williams, 7.2, probably gone. Andrew Wiggins, 8.3. Isaiah Joe, 11. Storber, who they picked, I think, last year, 5 million. Topic, 5 million. Like, you could trim a few of those guys and boom, you're out of the second apron. You've heard of them trading 2 of their picks for 1. That could save you some money. I think the 12th pick is like 5.8 million. And I'm guessing the 17th, I forgot to write it down for some reason. It's probably right around 4. You turn the 9 into 7, whatever, if you move up a pick or 2. Extending Hartenstein, probably save yourself a few million, giving him a long-term deal. This is where the start of their, like, they're going to have to cut some of these guys and bring in a couple G League guys or whatever, or just play one of the picks. So I don't think it really hurts their team yet.
Yeah.
But then going into, when we get to next offseason, Shea's contract goes up, and then you're really kind of in trouble. So I think this year is what can we trim and maybe even just trade these guys for seconds.
Yeah, so his contract goes from 40 million this next year to 61. So it's not like it goes up by like 5 million. It's 21 million dollars it goes up by, which is crazy. Yeah, but I'm with you. It's time to try to cash in on some of this young talent and just like get more assets to continue to build for the future. Like, we talked about a couple teams that missed out on the draft lottery. They're going to be looking for some young potential. So, like you mentioned, Isaiah Joe, 11 million. Can we move off of that? Wiggins is on 9 million. Can we move off of that? Um, what are you going to do with Dort? Right? Like, he kind of, because you might want to keep Wallace and move on from Dort because Dort's got 18. He's on a team option, so you can move on from that. You talked about Isaiah Harkenstein. They could maybe drop him down. What you think he would go for 18 for 3? 3 for 18. What something like yeah.
I think the lowest he would do would be like 4 for 100.
Okay, that's
I don't think
25.
you can get him lower than 25, because I know he wants to stay, and maybe he'd go a little lower, but like the way that he just played, like, I think teams would pay him more than $28 million if he got to the free agency. So
Yeah, it's
I think you'd have to go out like 4 years and get him
like 80. Could you do 4 years 80?
I mean, if I was OKC, I would.
Well, right. I'm saying,
I
like,
would send
do you
that
think
paper right
Harkins?
in.
Yeah.
I think you're probably somewhere in that 80 to 100
Yes.
over like 4 years, and you could even, depending on what you do, you could even do like 4 for 100 and decline it and pay a little more this year in order to like make him work. But I think he has to balance it out too, because if he goes too low, then he becomes the easiest player for them to dump next year.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Like, and then he might end up, not that we're saying OKC would do him dirty, but then he might end up like on the Nets because he's only getting paid $20 million and he fits everywhere.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so I think they got a lot of interesting moves to make, but I just really think it's about like Topic. Are you sold on that dude? He's 5. You can pick up his team option and you could trade him to the Nets or trade him to the Kings, for like 2 second-round picks or something or whatever. So I think that's the moves they got to make.
Yeah, they are like, so the Bucks. Now I can't even think of his name. The Bucks got an OKC guy. Like, I'll look it up as I talk. But I just think, like, if you're some of these teams, you have to just Ousmane Dieng. And he showed a little something. He's probably not like a superstar or anything. But I think if you're one of these other teams, would I give up a couple seconds for Topic? Sure. I got 2 more years to try him. I think OKC's probably done with him. It's just a pick that didn't work. You could use one of your current picks. Sorber, I don't think he's going to fit. He's coming off an ACL. If I'm another team, OKC saw something in him. If I can get him for a second or two, awesome. I think they're going to keep Dort until the trade deadline. I think he's just kind of like, for this year, I think he's like one of those, I don't want to say core guys, but Shea really likes him. And like you said, good.
I was gonna say, could he sign an extension for less? How do you go lower than 18?
Yeah, right. I don't think he's going to go lower than Caruso's is at what, 20? Right. He's going to get more than he's going to get more than Caruso in the open market.
Sure.
So I think some of it comes down to, I mean, if Dort would be like, yeah, I'll do 15 a year for 4 years. All right. But I think he's a cap casualty for next year. And they'll move off of him. So if you're one of these bad teams, Wiggins, Joe, Topic, sign me up.
Yeah.
I'll fit him in somewhere because OKC saw something in him, and I think they're really good at evaluating talent.
Yeah, and they just really haven't got opportunities. So, like, let's see what they got. Yeah, totally agree. I think, though, this is going to be the first thing that I think we're going to see, like, how the second apron, like, affects these middling, I don't want to say middling guys, but the average basketball players, these players with defined roles. What are we going to pay these guys? Because with the second apron and you like paying Chet and Shea and Williams already, it's like you don't have much else for money. So I'm kind of curious to see how that pans out. Long shot?
I don't think there's going long term with Hartenstein. I don't think that's really a long shot. I just don't think OKC, like a Giannis trade would be hard right now because those contracts for J-Dub or Chet don't kick in until the new league year.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to go on last year's value. Giannis is a big number. You're really fast forwarding. I don't really think their big move would, I don't know, packaging a bunch of picks to move up. Like I've seen a couple things that they like Boozer. Would they give up 12, 17 and future picks to move up to 3 to get Boozer? And that's kind of like you're all in. He's relatively cheap. But outside of that, I don't think they're big game hunting at this point.
Yeah, I agree. I said because there's been rumors to get them getting a top 5 pick. I think that's got to be like their long shot is to jump into the top 5. But other than that, obviously the Giannis rumors are out there. I think that's kind of a knee-jerk reaction to what happened. But if they are going in for like an all-in, we got to win in the next 2 years moves, there's no better option than Giannis. So you just got to pay whatever it is to get him. I think they have enough. They have so much. And like, let's say even if they, give up future picks, they'll still have enough where they'll have some themselves. And if they keep their own 2 picks this year, they still have 2 rookie contracts that they're adding to their, that's for the next 4 years. So there's ways they can work around it. But I think this is like, there'll be some new faces, but overall the core people are kind of going to be the same going into next year. Yeah.
I would agree. They're going to be good for a while. It's just, they're going to be a little less deep going forward.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Okay. Anything else on the Thunder?
I do not think so.
Okay. That's all we got, Thunder fans. So don't forget to like and subscribe, leave comments down below, and tell us how stupid we are about the flopping stuff, because I'm sure a lot of you have stuff to say about that. Okay, Clint, for us, anything else? Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.